Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right at work, but somehow promotions just keep passing you by? Here's the honest truth. Promotions don't usually go to the hardest worker. They go to the person who has clearly demonstrated they're already operating at the next level. In today's video, we're breaking down exactly how to prove you're ready for promotion so leadership sees you as the obvious choice. By the end of this video, you'll learn 3 things leaders look for before promoting someone. How to position yourself as promotion ready without sounding self-promotional, and the biggest mistake that ambitious professionals make that quietly hurts their chances of moving up. And one of those mistakes is something high performers do all of the time without even realizing it. If you don't know me, I'm Portia of Fly High Coaching, where we've helped thousands of executives and professionals soar to their full potential in their careers. Now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to stop acting like your current role and start operating at the next level. Promotions happen when leaders already see evidence that you can perform in a higher role. Most professionals are waiting for the promotion before changing how they actually operate and how they work and show up day to day. But high performers do something different. They position themselves for the promotion by already behaving like that next level contributor. So to do that, you want to understand what the next role actually requires. So you can do this by studying the expectations of the role above yours. So what are their key performance indicators or their KPIs? You can also review job descriptions internally and externally to get a varied opinion of the role and what it entails. You can also observe leaders who are already in that position. So what do those top performers do? You can think about what outcomes those top performers are responsible for. Your promotion strategy starts with clarity. So you can't prove readiness for a role that you don't fully understand. The second thing that you would want to do here is you want to shift from task execution to strategic contribution. Individual contributors, they focus on tasks and tactics, really. And leaders focus more big picture on outcomes, business impact, and they're solving bigger problems. You want to start thinking beyond your job description. So you can do that by thinking through a full process, asking thoughtful questions at the right time that go beyond just your role and what your job is. You can also bring solutions instead of problems. I talk about this a lot. You might identify problems, but think of some solutions, some alternatives whenever you're bringing a problem. You can also anticipate issues before they escalate. So again, thinking ahead, what have you seen happen or what could you foresee as happening as a result of the way things are done now? And then you can also connect work to business priorities. So your role, your job, your department even, what is an overall business priority that links to? Again, this is thinking bigger picture. If you want more support around your career strategy, sign up for the Career 911 Masterclass linked below. You also can demonstrate leadership before you have the title. So you want to influence others without authority. So that means that you have impact, you are influential, you can get people to do things even when you don't have formal power, meaning you don't have those individuals as direct reports. So they don't have to listen to you, but they choose to listen to you. You can also mentor peers or junior employees. You can lead meetings or projects. You can volunteer for visible and what I would say meaningful cross-functional work. So you don't want to get caught up in committees and things that aren't seen as needle movers, but really things that are seen as important. Because leadership isn't a title, it's evidence based on your history of impact. You also want to solve higher level problems. So you want to become known for solving challenges that other people avoid. So you can do that by, again, volunteering to work with that client that no one else wants to, or that project that's brand new and there is no blueprint for it. And in that, you could take ownership of messy or ambiguous situations where there isn't a step by step approach built yet. And in doing all of that, you're showing executive presence under pressure. There is no prototype, there is no blueprint. You're jumping in there and getting things done. Second, you want to build a promotion case using results and visibility. So, this is something that isn't quite seen as fair, but it's the truth. Hard work alone is invisible. Promotions are often based on measurable impact and perception. So, what do people think, and what are the results, and how do those results play out? If leadership doesn't know your contributions or can't quantify them, then you're making promotion decisions harder for them because they're not necessarily going to think about you. So, to overcome that, you want to document your wins. So, create what a lot of people call a brag book or a career wins tracker. And you can start this by going through past emails in your performance reviews and picking out those things that really stood out: accomplishments, achievements, special projects, key initiatives, those things that you worked on. And you can create a separate email folder and just kind of put it in that folder called brag book or career wins. And use that folder just for tracking your accomplishments. So when we want to think about more examples of what to actually put in there, things that enhanced revenue growth, cost savings, efficiency improvements, team performance metrics, client success outcomes, all of those things are what I call the gold in your background that you want to find and highlight later. You also want to think about how you would talk about or frame these things. So you should frame your accomplishments whenever you talk about them using a simple framework of problem. So you detail what was the issue, what was the challenge, action. So what actions did you take? What tasks did you do? What strategies did you employ? And then result. What was the overall impact that your work had? And if you can quantify that, that's even better. Your work does not speak for itself. You have to translate it for other people to understand and see the value. You also want to increase your strategic visibility, and you can do that in a variety of ways. So speaking up in meetings at the right time, not just talking all the time. Sharing those ideas thoughtfully. So thinking about timing, delivery, and tone. Volunteering for high impact initiatives, similar to what I was saying earlier. And then presenting your work to stakeholders. Another thing that people assume is they think, oh, I did the work. But sometimes you actually need to present the work in a group meeting or even in a one-on-one with your manager. I've had clients doing a lot of work and their manager has no idea until they put it on a PowerPoint presentation and show them in a one-on-one meeting. So that's something that you can do too. And there is important nuance to this. This is not about self-promotion or bragging. This is strategic positioning and making sure that people are aware of what you're doing. You also want to build advocates, not just relationships. So promotions happen often behind closed doors. Decision makers are discussing you, they're discussing other people before opportunities ever even open up. So I encourage you to have strong relationships with your manager, with any executive sponsors that you have at your company. And then as you're doing your work, make sure that you are creating credibility with other people on other teams and departments. So that's cross-functionally. You want to think about who is speaking positively about your work, even when you're not in the room. You also want to communicate your career aspirations professionally. So many professionals never explicitly say that they want advancement, that they want to be promoted, they want to move to another role, they want to progress in their career within one company. Got to remember that your manager is not a mind reader, so they don't know necessarily that you have those goals. So you would want to say that. And it's especially important for women. A lot of my clients who are women have been overlooked more than the guys have. So you could say something like, I'm interested in growing into a leadership role. What specific skills or experiences would help position me for that opportunity? And then finally, you want to avoid mistakes that delay promotions. And there are a lot of them. I generally tell people that the first 90 days in your role are the most important 90 days that you'll ever work. However, if you've already been in your job for a long time, then people might already have some perceptions of you. And those things could delay a promotion. It's also important to remember that promotions are not always delayed just because someone lacks skill, but sometimes they're sending the wrong signals. So someone might be waiting around to be discovered or believing that just their hard work alone is going to guarantee advancement, and it doesn't. This is very common among high achievers. I always hear people say, I want my work to speak for itself. Today, the world is very loud, the world is very busy, and everyone has a very short attention span. So most people are not going to just focus on you and your work. Visibility matters as much as capability. Another mistake I see is people acting entitled to a promotion. They think that just because they've been somewhere for X amount of time that they deserve a promotion. And I'm going to be very honest with you, that is not the case. Okay, promotions are earned based on work and other aspects that we've talked about, not just your tenure in a company. So you want to avoid just thinking, oh, I've been here the longest, or even just, I work harder than everyone else. We've kind of debunked that myth, right? And you have to shift your mindset to one that's more of promotion conversations that are focusing on business value. So letting people know that you're interested in a promotion, but not making it just about yourself. So not I did. It's like, hey, as a result of my contribution to this project, the business, the team, the department benefited this way. Another mistake is only staying in your comfort zone. For a promotion, for a new role, it's usually going to require some stretch experiences. So you to do things that are outside of the norm, outside of your normal roles and responsibilities. So you want to say yes to visibility and growth opportunities and just embrace leadership exposure. So people knowing who you are. That's a big deal for introverts, and I'm an introvert, so I get it. But really being okay with that visibility is important. And another mistake I see is when people focus only on technical skills. Being the best subject matter expert at XYZ or knowing the most about this one piece of technology, this program, this client, all of that. It's helpful for you to do your job, but not necessarily going to be the only thing that helps you get a promotion. For leadership roles specifically, soft skills actually can matter more than your technical skills. So some soft skills that you might want to think about developing are executive communication, stakeholder management, influencing others, decision-making, and emotional intelligence. The final mistake that I want to talk about is ignoring feedback. A lot of people see any type of critique as negative and they throw it out and just ignore it. You want to ask for honest input because this is going to let you know how other people see you. And this helps you to identify your blind spots early. So what are other people thinking? What are they saying? And then you want to treat this feedback like promotion intelligence, right? Giving you some insights that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Question that you can consider is, what's one thing that may be preventing leadership from seeing me at that next level? Write down your answer to that question. That gives you something to work on. If you want to prove that you're ready for a promotion, remember this: promotions don't just happen because you've worked hard. They happen because leadership already sees you succeeding at the next level. Start operating like the role you want, make your impact visible, and avoid the habits that quietly delay advancement. So here's a question I want you to think about. If your company were hiring for your next role today, what proof would you have that you're the best candidate? If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe for more career and leadership strategies to help you advance, earn more, and lead with confidence.